Good evening, everyone. We are starting exactly in a moment. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Uh, Welcome to Paper Strategies for Olympiad. That's what we are going to do today. I'm going to take you, me and Sonali ma'am are going to take you through step by step the entire thing, right? Just bear with me for a moment here. All right, people, I think we could start right now. Good evening once again, and welcome to the paper strategy for Olympiad examinations. Today, we are going to discuss a multitude of things, all right? Olympiad being one of those. So, let us just try to understand what all these things, but let's go step by step. Okay, first and foremost, a very obvious question is how should your child prepare for Olympiads, right? Let's say your child has decided what needs to be done and should prepare for the Olympiads, right? So obviously every parent has this question, and for this, what we have done is we have prepared an Olympiad guide, an ultimate Olympiad guide for this, correct? Which I'm going to take you through today along with Sonali ma'am. Sonali ma'am, you there with me? Right. I hope so. I'm audible to everyone. Okay, first and foremost, why do you need preparation for Olympiad? I mean, what is so great about Olympiad that we are talking about? I will also like people to know, Ansh, why? Ansh, if you have any query or question, you could send it directly to me and I'll answer that. Right? So, why is Olympiad preparation important? Right? Asha, what is Olympiad? In the very simplest words, I'll say Olympiads are the Olympics of academics. How Olympics as a sport event is, a very important part of a cultural of any nation. Olympiads are similarly in that way. Now, if you look at this, what does Olympiad examinations do? What is their importance as to what do they do? First, they test the conceptual understanding and analytical thinking. That's what they. And it's very important for any child who's trying to appear for any competitive examination, be it whatsoever. If you're appearing for CET, if you're appearing for JE, if you're appearing for NEET, or if you're appearing for NDA, right? What is important is that you should always be able to test your conceptual understanding as well as your analytical thinking. Two foundational stones, I would say, for cracking any competitive examination are your conceptual understanding and analytical thinking. Basically, your logical reasoning. That's what we are talking about here. Two, it also improves performance in school and stay ahead of peers. The more competitive examinations that you give, right, you would improve your performance not only in school, because obviously the mainstream, if you talk about the mainstream is your school or college, and we want score better marks over there as well. If you're doing good in competitive examination but not so well in your school or college, that's not something desirable. What we want is a balance. We should also do very good with your school as well as your competitive examinations. And the more that you prepare for competitive examination, your school performance will automatically go up. Why? Because your conceptual understanding increases, right? Having said that, it also assesses students not just within class or school, but at a national as well as an international level. Now, if you're writing your semester examinations, for example, or if you're writing your unit test examinations, your formatives or your summatives, you're testing yourself only with a small bunch of people who are around you. But once you come to Olympiad, you're testing your skills at a national as well as an international level if you're selected to that level. And finally, it gives a very early exposure to competitive examinations. Olympiads can start as early as when your child is in 7th or 8th standard. The first level of Olympiad is basically called as IJSO, or International Junior Science Olympiad, right? That takes place around when the child should be 13 years age, approximately. So it gives a very early exposure to children to understand what they need to do and how do they need to prepare. Obviously, Olympiad examinations has beyond school benefits because it tests you not just at the school level, they will help you throughout your career. Even when you go out for your interviews, for example, we have a lot of NDA candidates. When you go for SSB and you say you were selected in the national, you appeared for the regional Olympiad level and you selected for the national Olympiad, that's a big plus for you, even in your SSBs. Okay. Many Olympiad offer scholarships as well, right? So they also help you in that way, as well as they help you to pursue your dream because you could get admitted to any of your dream colleges. Now, how do you go about preparation for Olympiad? That's very important. You need to understand how do you prepare. Fine, you have decided that you will give your Olympiad examination, but how are you going to prepare for it? First, what you need to do is know the examination pattern. That's the most basic thing. Towards the end of this session, I'll be telling you all about the examination paper pattern, and the syllabus also will be talking about it, right? First step is to know the paper pattern. Then you also need to know the syllabus. A good thing to do always is whichever standard you are in, you should be very much aware about the content and the syllabus of at least one standard higher than that. So that's a very important thing for you. If you really want to crack Olympiads, your concepts should be clearer. So, for example, if your child is in 11th standard, the child should also be aware about everything that is happening in 12th standard. So, the concepts are pretty strong about it. Right? You need to obviously understand the format of question paper, marking scheme. Is there negative marking? Is there no negative marking? What sort of questions are going to ask? And most important is practice. You need to familiarize yourself with the types of questions. If you don't familiarize yourself with that type of question, then it's a very difficult task. Right? I hope so. I'm audible now.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Excellent. All right. So you also need to familiarize yourself with what sort of questions could there be. Math Olympiad. I'm going to talk primarily about two Olympiads in the PUPT, and I'm going to discuss about a lot of different types of Olympiads as well. Right? For example, Math Olympiad. It's a very important Olympiad. Why? Because math is a very important subject when it comes to any of the sciences. Math Olympiad will test the child's skill in different areas like numbers and arithmetic, algebra, and patterns. It's important for a child to understand patterns, right? Measures and units, obviously, space and geometry and chance and data as well. That's your basic probability because the type of questions that could be asked based on these questions is very valid. And Olympiads will always check you and test you for as diverse a questions as possible. They would check you for obscure concepts, which are obscure yet important, right? So, Nali ma'am, would you like to chip in something? Anyone has any queries by this time? Or all right, let's proceed to the Science Olympiad. What are the benefits of Science Olympiad? Let us try to understand. Now, science is a very encompassing term because it includes your physics, chemistry, biology and everything, right? So when I say science, there are individual Olympiads for science, astronomy, astrophysics, biology, chemistry, and all that will take place. Basically, science exams do a lot more to bring out the best in a child. The type of questions, the reasoning and the application type questions are asked in science. I don't think so. There's any other Olympiad where these type of questions are asked. They also increase your in-depth knowledge and understanding of science concepts. Otherwise, what happens with the majority of people generally when it comes to science, and if they disdain science, what they follow is the rote learning method. They simply by heart concepts, they simply by heart answers, they simply by heart laws and definitions, and they just simply go to the examination and just write it out. But that is not going to help you when it comes to your competitive examinations. Competitive examinations do not test your memory power, they test your application of knowledge and concepts. How much do you know and what do you know? That's what they are going to check. So it's important that you understand a single concept from every different point of view possible. For example, if you talk about, let's say, Ohm's law, what are the different ways in which you could study or understand and apply the Ohm's law? What is the reverse of Ohm's law? That's also what something you need to understand. That's also something that you need to understand. Okay. Science Olympiad, obviously the problems are trickier. They're not difficult. Understand, I've seen a lot of students always complain कि सर इतना difficult paper था. Paper difficult नहीं होता है, आप prepared नहीं थे. एक वो चीज होती है. आप बोलते हो मैं I was prepared, sir. I was, awake the entire night and I was practicing and practicing and I did not sleep. Why were you doing that? Because you did not practice for the entire year. That's why you were trying to cram up the entire year's syllabus in one single night. That's not the ideal way to go around. You need to practice a varied amount of problems, because that's what a lot of people, they say in physics, sir theory आता है, numericals नहीं आता है हमको. क्यों नहीं आता है? Because that's application of knowledge over there, and a single question could be asked in 10 different ways. So that's what we need to learn. And in today's world, especially when there's something called as a Google, you could just go and type out Olympiad, previous year's Olympiad question papers for whatever subject you want, and you will get all of them. It's an entire repository of question banks and question papers over there. Practice as many questions as you want, because that's the only way to crack these examinations. There's no other way to do so. When I say they become trickier, they really do. I mean, for some students who are here, I could, try to tell them about different papers, especially when we discuss them. Science Olympiads help cultivate a kind of analytical thinking in children. I said this is a very important trait. If you remember in the beginning of the uh, PowerPoint, I said analytical thinking is a very important trait for any competitive examination, and that's what we are trying to achieve over here. That should be our goal, basically, right? Also, experience when you write this examination, you basically experience science as real scientists and apply the scientific methods with meaning. Olympiads also have an experimental round, by the way, a practical round, where you're given a problem and you're supposed to solve it on the spot. No one will tell you how to do it. You need to use your own head. There could be one child who's using one method, there could be some other child who could have a more efficient method in other way. So not only theory knowledge is checked, also practical applications are also checked when it comes to Olympiad examinations. Yes, Anshu, you're absolutely right. NSO and IMO questions are really tricky. Not only that, especially if you look at the problems in any of the Olympiads, they'll be tricky. One key, as I said, you can't prepare. You cannot say, you cannot have, this is a myth that I will complete the entire syllabus 2 days before the examination. वो सिर्फ आपको ही लगता है कि आप मेरा फिर सिलेबस हो गया, होता कुछ नहीं, फिर एग्जाम में वही आता है जो तुमने छोड़ दिया था ऑप्शन में, राइट? उसके लिए the only and the best way to do is start preparing early as you can, as early as you can, right? So as I said, it's a myth that preparation before the week of the examination will give you a good rank. No, it won't even give you. I doubt if you'll even get qualified if you were to do that. You need to start from basic. Understand your foundation should be strong. First is always the foundation. Once that is strong, then everything else makes sense. If your foundation is not strong and you say मैं जाएगा मैं तारा तोड़ेगा, नहीं, it doesn't work that way. right?
Sir, someone has started the video and showing something.
Yes, sir.
Akash.
Sir, please check this, sir.
So, as I was saying, that the basic foundation is your NCRT books, right? Those are the most basic thing. You should know each and every concept, not by hearted, but understand each and every concept in your NCRT books, because they lay the foundations, right? While you go through a particular chapter, preparation of notes is very important. This will help you save your time when you revise the chapter for examination. So, Nali ma'am, would you like to take this discussion forward?
Excuse me, sir, sorry to interrupt, but there are some unknown participants in this room.
I will
Yes,
ask.
sir.
Okay, I'll ask someone to remove them. All right, just a second. Sonali ma'am, can you hear me? All right, I think Sonali ma'am is not able to hear me. I hope so. You guys are able to hear me.
Yes,
Also, the second
sir.
point would be, in order to prepare early, you need to cover your school curriculum in advance. As I said, you should be prepared for the next level. So you're in 11th, you should be prepared for the 12th standard as well. Only if you know these two, that it will become easy for you to uh, crack through these examinations, right? Now, prepare notes, underline key concepts, read NCRT. NCRT is your basic foundation. You need to be able to do that, right? Ideally, the school curriculum for the selected subject should be completed, and then you may revise key concepts such as mathematics, English, and science. English for linguistic Olympiad, science basically for physics, chemistry, biology Olympiads, and math and science combined for astronomy and astrophysics Olympiad, right? Read NCRT or similar books of one grade higher. I think I've already covered this for you. All right, this is interesting. You need to do extensive practice, guys. Practice is the key. The more you practice, the lesser it is. The more you practice, the lesser it is for you, right? जितना प्रैक्टिस करोगे उतना बेटर रहेगा तुम्हारे लिए. Try to use not only the official booklets that come with the Olympiad, but try to do as many different questions from as many different books.
Sir, you
Attempt
are
as
not.
many, yeah, sorry, attempt as many MCQ type questions as possible, right? Because theory questions are not important obviously when you go to competitive examinations. As many MCQs, I mean, you could do 50. To give you a very honest idea, if you really want to crack your JEs, your NDAs, your Olympiads, per subject you'll need to do at least 50,000 MCQs. Now if
So,
you're, सर इतना क्वेश्चन आएगा कहाँ से? गूगल, सब मिलेगा. पीडी आजकल नोट्स ऑनलाइन पीडीएफ में हर चीज का नोट्स मिल जाता है, राइट? 50,000 MCQs when you do per subject, it's only then that you will be, in a position you should be able to feel a little confident. Little, I'm saying, not 100% confident. हर एक सब्जेक्ट का, फिजिक्स का 50,000, केमिस्ट्री का 50,000, मैथमेटिक्स का तो ज़्यादा 80,000 क्वेश्चन. तुम लोग के पास टाइम है, उतना करोगे तो हो जाएगा. नहीं करोगे, तुम बोलते मैं सर 100 MCQ करूंगा, आई गो टू राइट माई एग्जामिनेशन, तो रिजल्ट भी तुम्हारा वैसे ही जाएगा फिर. Focus on conceptual clarity and practical application. Practical application is a key for any and every uh, Olympiad, even mathematics for that matter. You may be thinking, sir, math में क्या practical होता है? भैया, math is entirely practical. Math is basically a way of life, right? Math को हम खाली सोचते हैं वो plus minus division integration वो हो गया. नहीं, math has much more to it. Math is like an onion. उसका जितना layers peel करो ना, उतना layers अंदर दिखता जाएगा तुमको. You need to be able to practice math and understand and appreciate the beauty of math. जितना उस मैथ का ब्यूटी को हम लोग बोलेंगे ना, उतना तुमको इजी पड़ेगा, एंड देन यू विल स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग मैथ. ठीक है. One mistake that a lot of students make is insufficient preparation for logical reasoning. जो एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट होता है, बेसिकली एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट, लॉजिकल रीजनिंग हम प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं करते। हमको लगता है हमारा आईक्यू जो है ना डाविंची के जैसा है, हम आप देखेंगे क्वेश्चन हमको आंसर आ जाएगा, बिकॉज हमारा पैटर्न रिकग्निशन इतना स्ट्रांग है। ऐसा नहीं होता है, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं होता है। You need to train your mind to recognize patterns. You need to train your mind to be able to find out answers. You need to train your mind to remove the options which you can see and they are absolutely wrong in your opinion. वो सब पहले करना पड़ेगा आपको, तभी जाके कुछ होगा, otherwise nothing will work. Logical reasoning is, again I'm saying, very very important. Tips to score high, basically. Obviously everyone would like to score high, and how do you score high? वो भी तो देखना है हमको. Obviously the first thing would be to stay energized. See, there's a very famous saying that an army on empty stomach can never win wars. Similarly, if you're going for any examination, right, your brain should be powered enough. 80% of the energy of your body is consumed by your brain. 20% is what is left for everything else to do. Your brain is power hungry. It needs a lot of power to function. And how do you power it up? Before going for an examination, eat very healthy, very nice, oily makhan maar ke paratha, and you go for the examination. फिर पेपर नहीं लिखेगा, सो जाएगा. You need to eat well, but not heavy food, because that will induce lethargy inside yourself. We do not need lethargy when you're inside examination. You need to be energized. You need to avoid heavy foods. If needed, carry protein biscuits with you. It's okay, you could carry them, right? Carry glucose water for a long duration. बहुत long duration test होगा. This is a satta. This is literally a satta. People carry water bottles now. If it's a very long duration test, carry glucose water. Glucose will give you instant energy. होता है ना, लिखते लिखते थक गया, समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. Your mind is trying to sleep. Sip, keep on sipping. अच्छा, ग्लूकोज वाटर एक साथ बहुत ज्यादा नहीं पीना होता है. Keep on sipping that glucose water थोड़ा थोड़ा, right? It will give you energy boost आराम आराम से, and your brain would be active. Otherwise your brain would go into lethargic mode, and you will not be able to think critically or logically, and you will not be able to understand what is happening, right? Attempt questions smartly. Obviously do not spend more than 2 to 3 minutes on any question. It doesn't make sense wasting time on a question. एक क्वेश्चन नहीं आया, तुम उसको 10 मिनट लेके बैठ गए, तुम्हारा आगे का जो आता है क्वेश्चन वो छूट जाएगा. पहला, सबसे पहला वही क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करो जो क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स आप एकदम श्योर हो. यू आर एब्सोल्युटली 100%, 120% श्योर कि आई नो दिस आंसर. ओनली अटेम्प्ट दोस क्वेश्चंस फर्स्ट, फटाफट एकदम. देन मूव ऑन टू द अदर क्वेश्चंस, right? Keep calm. I mean, this is very important. Keep calm. It's your exam. Normally, people don't tend to keep calm when it's the examination, right? If you're not calm, if you're stressed, your body will get into a very bad stressful mode, and then you'll lose out on your basic critical thinking and analogies, because what is needed by the body, you're giving it exactly opposite of that. You need to keep calm. I know it's difficult for a lot of people who say sir exam में ऐसा कैसा calm रहेंगे हम लोग. कब calm रहोगे? If you're practiced enough and if you're confident. If you're not confident enough, तुमने last 4 घंटा पहले ही पढ़ा, तो obviously you cannot stay calm. In order to understand, to keep calm is a lot of effort. Okay, तो साल भर पहले से प्रैक्टिस करना पड़ेगा. पहले से पढ़ाई करोगे तब जाके काम रहोगे. If you want, take a deep breath. Take 10 deep breaths. You should feel all right. Close your eyes, take 10 deep breaths. Take a breath in, hold for 2 seconds, release. 2 मिनट लगेगा उसके लिए, बट दोज 2 मिनट्स आर वर्थ इट, बिकॉज बाकी के सब क्वेश्चन तुम अच्छे से कर पाओगे विद अ फ्रेश माइंड. किसको भी कभी भी लेथार्जी हो सकता है. इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी दैट यू आर एक्टिव के एग्जाम में भी एक्टिव होता है. समटाइम्स यू आर राइटिंग एग्जामिनेशन, यू माइट स्टार्ट अप यॉर्निंग, राइट? ऑलवेज टेक योर टाइम, पॉज एट दैट इंस्टेंस. डू नॉट लेट फटीग एंटर योर बॉडी. जैसे ही फटीग हो जाएगा ना, तो बाकी का सब कुछ रह जाएगा. Eligibility, I think one of the basic eligibility would be to hold an Indian passport, right? I mean, when I say Indian passport, you should be an Indian citizen, right? You must be residing and studying in India since 30th November 2017 or earlier. Not after that. Must not have passed or scheduled to complete class 12 board examinations or equivalent earlier than November 30th 2020. Basically तुम्हारा 12th खत्म नहीं होना चाहिए नवंबर 30 2020 तक के. ठीक है. तो अभी right now जो students who are currently in their 11th standard and 12th standard, they are eligible for this examination. All right. So be prepared about that. You must not have commenced or planning to commence studies in a university or equivalent institution. मतलब आपका एज ग्रुप ऐसा नहीं होना कि आपका फर्स्ट ईयर यूनिवर्सिटी चालू हो चुका है. वो चालू हुआ तो भी यू आर नॉट क्वालिफाइड फॉर दिस एग्जामिनेशन. There are other examinations for those. Then we are going to talk about them some other time, right? I think eligibility में Sonali ma'am could add a lot of other things.
Sir, what's the name of this exam?
Sorry, I did not hear you. Someone asked a question. I did not hear that question. Anyone has any queries about the eligibility? I would request Sonali ma'am to talk about the eligibility. All right. By the time Sonali ma'am doesn't come, let's talk about question paper pattern. We are going to spend some time over here on the question paper pattern. Let's pay attention, right? Srivardhan, this is the Olympiad examination. So, Srivardhan, now Olympiad is a general term. There could be multiple papers inside it. I mean, there could be a physics Olympiad. There could be a there could be a physics Olympiad, mathematics Olympiad, informatics Olympiad, astronomy Olympiad, uh, bio Olympiad. There are lots of this, even in IT, computer science Olympiads as well. All right, there are lots of these Olympiads that happen, and if you were to, I mean, if you appear as many as Olympiad. In fact, there was this girl a couple of years ago. She was homeschooled by her parents, and I forgot her name. I could find the name and somehow let you all know later. This girl, what happened was, uh, she was homeschooled. I am not sure how many of you are aware about the homeschooling concept. It's just beginning to start in India, but in the Western world, it's a pretty famous concept, homeschooling. This girl was from India. I think she was from Bombay. She was homeschooled by her parents, and she did great. And the 10th standard examination, she appeared and she did great. But then, because she was homeschooled, someone in the university were not people were not accepting her. But then she had appeared for an IT Olympiad and she won the gold medal over there. Just because of that gold medal, she was selected in Harvard because of that gold medal, not because she was homeschooled or anything of that sort. So these Olympiads really hold a very huge and a very important value. So because she always, right from the moment she was, I think about 4 years old or 5 years old, she was only studying information technology. I mean, her parents went to IT and everything, that helped. But then, so she was very focused. As Anisa always says, specific is terrific. She was totally focused on a single subject, and once she started preparing for that, she became so good at it that she actually went ahead and she cracked the examination at the International Olympiad for Information Technology. So, right? So that really helps. That really helps about that. Correct. Now, as far as the question, okay, someone is asking me a question. Just a second. No, there won't be any logbooks provided at physics, numericals, and chemistry examination. Ideally, you should be able to do them by yourself. There's no calculators also that are allowed. Obviously, I mean that goes without saying. Uh, and also understand you cannot go to the Olympiad level directly. Okay, I'll take some time and I'll explain you all what are the different processes basically that happens if you want to go to that level. You cannot directly go for the international Olympiad level. First would be a regional round, right, which is conducted by the Physics Association, right? In All India Physics Association teachers, they are the ones who conduct this first regional round. And after, once you're selected there, understand how does this Olympiad work. Okay? The first round that takes place regionally, once you're selected in the regional round, then you appear the national round. Once you're selected in the national round, then then on the selected students who have cleared the national round, the top, I think, 15 students or so are selected, and they are taken for the camp in New Bombay. Right, you could be anywhere from anywhere. It is the camp happens in New Bombay. It is conducted by scientists and people working in BARC and thus. And what do? They select, they coach these 15 students for the next 2 or 3 months on the different levels of questions that could be asked, how are the application questions that are asked, and all that. So very intensive and a rigorous coaching is done for these selected 15 odd students, and then they are tested again by them. And the final 6 or 7, I think there's an entire team that goes. It's not an individual person who goes for this Olympiad. Just like Olympics, there's an entire team for Olympics, right? So if you're in the athletic event, there'll be 5, 6 people or 7 or 8 people in the athletics team. There's not one single person. He's like, I'll play all the games and I'll will on all the medals for the nation. No, that doesn't happen. Similarly, over here, when the last 5 or 6 people are selected, they're selected in a way to see some people are very good with their practical application. Some are very conceptually brilliant. Some have a very strong theoretical foundation. So the team is selected with a mismatch of these kind of people. The final team. Generally, one extra person is selected so that if someone falls sick at the last moment, he could be replaced easily. So there's a very intensive. And by the way, when for the camp, for the stay, for accommodation, food, and everything is paid by the government. For international level, it takes place in different countries. 3 years ago, the Junior Science Olympiad was conducted in Bali. 2 years ago, it was in Russia. I think the next is going to happen in Belgium, if I'm not wrong. So all that cost is borne by the government if your child is finally selected. And then you go there, I think, and it's not only studies. Finally, when you go there, the first 2 days or something, you'll be taken on a cultural tour of the entire of the city and everything. Then you'll be given some accommodation in a very good place. Once you're there, then finally what happens is then you'll have one examination, and then on the basis of those cumulative marks, teams would qualify for the second round, third round. There are multiple rounds even when you go to the international level. There's not even a single round. Okay. So you need to be aware about that. It's a multiple process. You cannot say, I filled the form for Olympiad, I will go to Russia and give the examination. It is not going to happen. So there's a pre-regional, regional, national, and international. So different levels, right? So you need to keep that in mind. Also, to get selected even for the national level, by the way, let's have a very optimistic view and a very pessimistic view. Optimistic view, you go to the international level, right, and you win whatever, gold, silver, bronze. That's a very optimistic view. A pessimistic view is you did not qualify. Let's say you qualified pre-regional, you qualified regional, and you went to the national level. Even if you've gone to the even if you've gone to the national level, then what happens is, oh, just a second, guys, there's some network issue here. Guys, just a second. Sonali ma'am would like to talk about some important stuff right now.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
First information that all students should fill the form of ADCI. It's
Ma'am,
compulsory for
voice
all the
crack.
students
मैम
to fill the
आवाज
form.
आपकी
Am I audible?
Ma'am, voice crack.
यस मैम
All the students.
मैम वॉइस क्रैक हो रहा है।
वॉइस क्रैकिंग मैम।
Hello. Okay. All students of ADCI need to fill this form compulsorily. I hope most of your queries are cleared by now that what is the eligibility and everything. So every student of ADCI 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standard. I'll repeat 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standard students will fill this form compulsory. And whether it is state board, CBSE board, or any board, you'll have to fill this form. And basically, see, Olympiad examination form to fill the form, it's very easy process. There is no document which you need to attach or something. So it's very easy to fill the form.
Ma'am, is it free?
Is it?
Free.
You're not audible properly.
Free है क्या? Free.
It is not free. 200 rupees per subject. The fees is only 200 rupees per subject. Okay. So,
मैम
see,
ये
हाँ,
एग्जाम कब होती है?
एग्जाम जो रहेगी जनवरी एंड फरवरी मंथ में रहेगी. अगर आप जूनियर ओलंपियाड के लिए अप्लाई कर रहे हो तो एग्जाम रहेगी.
मैम मैंने फॉर्म भर दिया है.
फॉर्म जनवरी एंड फरवरी में एग्जाम रहेगा. डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट्स डिफरेंट डेट. ठीक है, तो डिफरेंट सब्जेक्ट रहेगा, डिफरेंट डेट रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं है कि एक ही दिन में आपकी सब एग्जाम रहेगी.
मैम वो ऑफलाइन रहेगा या ऑनलाइन?
सी दिस इज नॉट बीन डिसाइडेड येट. तो अभी तक अभी हर साल जो एग्जाम होती है वो ऑफलाइन ही होती है. दिस ईयर ऑल्सो इट मे बी ऑफलाइन ओनली, क्योंकि नोटिफिकेशन अभी जो आया है उसमें ऐसे कुछ मेंशन नहीं किया है. ऑल्सो जब आप फॉर्म फिल करते हैं तो आपको सेंटर्स पूछे जाते हैं. तो जहाँ तक है आपका एग्ज़ाम जो है ऑफलाइन ही रहेगा. ठीक है, एंड फरवरी में आपका एग्ज़ाम रहेगा फॉर फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स, बायोलॉजी एंड जूनियर साइंस के लिए अगर आप एग्ज़ाम दे रहे हो तो वो रहेगा जनवरी में. ठीक है,
मेरे तरह कौन सा सब्जेक्ट चूज करना है, जूनियर साइंस या अलग अलग?
सी आप जब फॉर्म फिल करते हो ना, दिस इज आपको थोड़ा सा फॉर्म जब फिल करना होता है ना, उसके लिए 2-3 चीज़ें हैं. उसके लिए 2-3 चीज़ें हैं जो आपको बहुत ज़रूर मतलब फिल करते वक्त ध्यान रखनी ज़रूरी है. जब आप फॉर्म फिल करना शुरू करते हो वहाँ पे ऊपर आपको सिलेक्ट ऑप्शन आता है फॉर ओनली वन सब्जेक्ट, या फिर सेकंड ऑप्शन आता है बोथ. तो जो बच्चे 11th स्टैंडर्ड में है वहाँ पे उसी लाइन में आपको मेंशन किया जाता है 8, 9, 10 एंड सेकंड ऑप्शन होता है 10th, 11th, 12th. तो जो भी बच्चे 11th एंड 12th स्टैंडर्ड में है उन्हें सेकंड ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करना है. ओके, सो प्लीज फॉर्म फिल करते वक्त थोड़ा सा
सब्जेक्ट्स में ना एंड और आता है.
हाँ, एंड और जो आता है सेकंड ऑप्शन आपको वो सिलेक्ट करना है. Website is iaptexam.in. I'll mention in chat box also. iapt.exam.in. तो ये वेबसाइट है जहाँ पे आप जाके फॉर्म फिल कर सकते हैं. IAPT एग्जाम.
मैम एक सब्जेक्ट का रजिस्टर किया तो चलता है?
सी आपको क्या करना है आगे जाके, एनडीए करना है, राइट?
हाँ मैम.
एनडीए में आपको फिजिक्स का भी एग्जाम देना पड़ता है, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स, एवरी एग्जाम देनी पड़ती है आपको, राइट? सो आप अभी क्यों सिर्फ एक सब्जेक्ट अप्लाई करना चाहते हैं? अप्लाई फॉर बोथ ऑल द सब्जेक्ट्स ना, बिकॉज This will be your practice exam also for NDA. अभी जो है एग्जाम आपका ये रहेगा फरवरी में, सो यू विल कम टू नो कि आपको कितना इन्फॉर्मेशन है उस सब्जेक्ट के रिलेटेड, एंड जो आपका एलिजिबल अटेम्प्ट रहेगा सितंबर में एनडीए का, आपको तब तक कितना प्रिपरेशन करना है. So we'll advise you to go for all the subjects, even for astronomy, because astronomy में जो है बहुत कुछ आपको ज्योग्राफी के रिलेटेड भी क्वेश्चंस आते हैं, राइट. इफ यू डोंट क्लियर, नो वन इज गोइंग टू टेल यू कि चुली पे नहीं चढ़ा देंगे, राइट. एटलीस्ट यू विल गिव एन अटेम्प्ट. तो मेरा
मैम एंड
मेरा
जूनियर्स
मैम
मेरा सजेशन ये रहेगा कि यू गो फॉर ऑल दी सब्जेक्ट्स, दैट इज फिजिक्स, केमिस्ट्री, मैथ्स, बायो एंड एस्ट्रोनॉमी, ऑल. अगर आप सब सब्जेक्ट लेते हैं, दिस इज 5 सब्जेक्ट्स, अगर आप सब सब्जेक्ट लेते हैं तो इसका 1000 रुपीज फीस है, ओनली 1000 रुपीज. एंड सी वॉट यू विल गेट आफ्टर दिस 1000 रुपीज, जस्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ 1000 रुपीज. फर्स्टली आपका कॉन्फिडेंस इंक्रीज होगा. सेकेंड थिंग, आप खुद का एनालाइज कर सकते हो कि आपको क्या आता है, कितना नहीं आता, कौन से टॉपिक्स आते हैं, राइट. एंड वी एट एडीसीआई वी आर हियर टू सपोर्ट यू फॉर एवरीथिंग, राइट. आप जब यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन पेपर लेके आओगे, वी कैन हैव वन ऑन वन डिस्कशन ऑन ऑल द क्वेश्चंस. तो उस तरीके से ही आप अपने आप को प्रिपेयर कर सकते हो एनडीए एग्जाम के लिए. नॉट ओनली एनडीए एग्जाम, दिस विल हेल्प यू फॉर जेईई एग्जाम एंड अदर एग्जाम्स ऑल्सो. So do appear for all the examinations, that is physics, chemistry, maths, bio, astronomy, all the exams. And वहाँ पे पूछा जाता है कि लाइक यू नो व्हाट इज़ योर परमानेंट एड्रेस. ऑब्वियसली आपके घर का एड्रेस आएगा, स्कूल का एड्रेस. अगर आपने हमारे टाइप कॉलेज के साथ एडमिशन लिया है, दैट इज गायत्री कॉलेज या स्वामी समर्थ कॉलेज, आपको हमारे यहाँ से मैसेज भी आया होगा. यू कैन रिफर दैट मैसेज और फील फ्री टू कॉल अस. विल प्रोवाइड यू ऑल द डिटेल्स. सेकेंड थिंग, वहाँ पे एक जब आप फॉर्म लास्ट फॉर्म सबमिट करते हो, वहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन आता है APOH का, डू यू वांट टू बी पार्ट ऑफ दिस. तो दैट इज एसोसिएशन ऑफ फिजिक्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. सो यू हैव टू टेक दैट येस, देयर इज ऑप्शन येस और नो. तो आपको वो येस टिक करना है. Okay, so remember two three points. Remember two three points. First is जब आप फॉर्म फिल करना स्टार्ट करते हो, तो वहाँ पे जो 10th 11th 12th का ऑप्शन आता है, यू हैव टू सिलेक्ट दैट ऑप्शन. सेकेंड थिंग इज आपके बर्थ डेट एंड ऑल सब ठीक से आप डालिए. कॉलेज में एक ऑप्शन आता है, वेदर इट इज़ गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज, प्राइवेट कॉलेज या कैसे हैं, वो भी फिल करिए प्रॉपरली. उसमें काफ़ी बच्चों को कन्फ्यूजन आ रहा था. एंड ये जो एग्जाम्स है उसका मीडियम ऑफ लैंग्वेज आता है, दैट इज इंग्लिश और हिंदी. सो प्रिफर्ड इज इंग्लिश बिकॉज आपके बाकी के एनडीए और वो सब एग्जाम्स भी इंग्लिश में रहेंगे. सो कीप दिस इन माइंड. एंड सब एग्जाम का फॉर्म फिल करिए. इफ एनीवन हैव एनी क्वेरी रिगार्डिंग फॉर्म, प्लीज फील फ्री टू आस्क क्वेश्चंस. यू कैन
मैम
मेंशन इन चैट बॉक्स. हाँ,
ये जूनियर साइंसेस क्या होता है जो हमारे लिए है?
जूनियर साइंसेस जो होता है वो सादा करके 10th स्टैंडर्ड तक के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए होता है.
अच्छा,
एट
नहीं क्योंकि वो ऑप्शन में जूनियर साइंसेस भी आ रहा था इसलिए.
हाँ, तो दैट इज फॉर 8th 9th 10th के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए बेसिकली,
अच्छा ठीक है.
राइट. सो आपके बहन भाई छोटे जो आपसे यंगर वंस होंगे घर पे, उनको एडवाइस करो, फिल देयर फॉर्म ऑल्सो. व्हाट यू आर स्टार्टिंग टुडे एट 11th और 12th स्टैंडर्ड लेवल, उनको अभी से ही ट्रेन करो, सो दैट दे by the time they reach 11th standard, they are more confident and more prepared for their examinations. So you can guide them also. 8th 9th 10th 11th and 12th standard students can fill this form.
Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am. I hope so your eligibility criteria and your examination form filling, all that is clear because of Sonali ma'am, right? Thank you so much, Sonali ma'am. I'm putting in a phone number in the chat box, guys. Guys, I'm putting in a phone number in the chat box. In case if you have any problems while filling in the form, you can call or message on this number during the official hours, and you should be able to do it. Right? Now, having said that, let's try to look at the paper pattern that we discussed. So, what sort of questions are going to be asked? Now, understand for physics, it's a slightly different paper pattern as opposed to all the other examinations. Why? Because it is conducted by the All India Association of Physics Teachers, right? Because it is by them, the physics paper is slightly different. For exclusively for physics Olympiad, there's 60 MCQ choice question with one correct answer, plus 3 for every right question, minus 1 for every incorrect. This is part A for physics. Understand, in physics part A, there's only 60 questions. In physics part B, there are 10 questions with more than one correct answer. I repeat, in part A, there's only one correct answer. In part 2, there could be a possibility of more than one correct answer, right? Obviously, to get credit, all correct options and no incorrect options should be marked to get the maximum query. It is plus 3 minus 1. For all other examinations, it's 80 MCQ questions with negative marking, obviously. No calculators is allowed, and the total marks would be 240. How 240, I'll tell you, because this is 60, and this 10 mark questions are worth 2 marks. No, these are plus 3, right? Okay, because this 10 questions could be more than one right? So each question could end up with multiple marks. It's a very basic form of question paper. Just a second. Okay, why are we even asking students to do this? Why are we asking and requesting students to fill the? I think before this we asked everyone to fill the KVPY form. Now we are asking everyone. By the way, it's compulsory for all ADCI students to fill the Olympiad form. You have to, right? Why? Understand, you are here for a competitive examination, right? Most of you are here for do for the competitive examination or something like that, right? Now we encourage students to write examinations like KVPY, Olympiad, NTSE. Those of you who know NTSE stands for National Talent Search Examination, that takes place at 10th standard level, correct? Only and only if you were to write all these examinations, what happens, you get this exposure towards writing competitive examination. The more exposure that you get for writing competitive examination, the easier it becomes for you guys when it comes to NDA to attempt that paper, right? You would obviously be calm because you have already faced these type of questions. You have faced trickier questions in Olympiads, and imagine that you have written NTSC to fair, and now it's not the time. You cannot KVP. You have appeared for KVPY. You have appeared for Olympiads, and now when you go for your actual NDA, think about how much experience you already have of writing these type of questions. I'm sure you'll be calm. You'll be able to perform better, and you'll excel in your examinations. For cracking NDA, a child needs to attempt as many competitive examinations as possible. Not only we are making compulsory Olympiad and KVPY, but in the future, if we find any other examination which can help the students, we'll make that compulsory for all our students too. I've spoken about the importance of Olympiads before. I'm sure all of you know that. I've kept the last 10 minutes or 9 minutes as a question and answer session because not a lot of people are aware about Olympiads. Is part B similar to JEE physics? Not exactly, Ansh, but somewhere in the ballpark, right? I kept the last 9 minutes for a Q&A session, by the way. So if any one of you has any query, any question about any of these Olympiads, this is the time where you could ask me the question. About any. By the way, the Earth Science Olympiad is not conducted by IAPT, neither is the Linguistic Olympiad. The Earth Science Olympiad is conducted by the Geological Society of India, I think, or the Earth Science Society of India, either one of those. It's also a very interesting examination to give. Your geography would be taken care of when you were to appear and attempt for that examination. Anyone has any query about Olympiads? Any parent, student, anyone who's here? Okay, sorry. I also wanted to tell you about to watch out from which Olympiad examinations are you attempting for. As I said, not all Olympiads are recognized by the government, or not all Olympiads that you write over here in India would take you to the international Olympiad. Uh, there's only some which is like official sites like iapt.exam.in is one, Earth Science Institute of India, Geological Institute of India, that's one, and things like that. There are lots of others like Silver Zone, SOF, and a lot of others. They hold no value. They are only okay if you want to just practice. They're only good if you want to practice. Even if you're to top in those examinations, you're not going to go into. No, SOF is not official examination. The official website of SOF, Anch, if you were to look into it, it is called as sofworld.org. ऐसा लगता है बहुत इंटरनेशनल बड़ा है ये, बट इनका हेड ऑफिस है हरियाणा में. ठीक है, तो आई मीन, so there's and they sell you courses. SOF, they sell you, उनका खुद का कोर्स बेचते हो लोग, हमारा कोर्स करो 3,000 का, 5,000 का, 10,000 का, and something like that. That will that's where they make money. That's where they make money. So there's
Excuse
not
me,
only
sir.
SOF. Yes.
एस्ट्रोनॉमी ओलंपियाड में क्या होता है?
एस्ट्रोनॉमी ओलंपियाड में एस्ट्रोनॉमी एंड एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं दैट कुड डील विद, आई मीन बेसिक में केपलर्स लॉ हो गया, ग्रेविटेशन आ गया, बहुत सारी दूसरी चीज़ें आती है. खैर दिस इज बहुत बेसिक पे बताया मैंने केपलर्स लॉ ये. बट एनीथिंग एंड एवरीथिंग टू डू विद द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ द यूनिवर्स से लेके यू टॉक अबाउट कर्व ब्लैक होल्स एंड एवरीथिंग, वो सारी चीज़ें आ जाती है एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स में और एस्ट्रोनॉमी में.
तो अगर
इनफैक्ट
हमने चूज किया तो उधर सिखाएंगे ना?
ने चूज किया तो बेटा उसका काफी सारा मटेरियल मिल जाएगा अपने को ऑनलाइन. उसका डाउट सॉल्विंग हम लोग वो सब करवा लेंगे, डिस्कस कर लेंगे उसको.
हाँ, और बायोलॉजी हमने 11th में लिया नहीं, तो बायोलॉजी पेपर कैसे देंगे हम लोग?
बायो अगर नहीं है तो मत दो, इट्स ओके. दोज ऑफ यू हैव नॉट सेलेक्टेड बायो, तुमने पढ़ा ही नहीं तो दोगे क्या? ठीक है.
यस सर.
ऐसे है. ये अंश, अच्छा अंश has appeared for SOF exam, but SOF से कहीं it's good for practice, Ansh, but as I said, you cannot go anywhere with it. It is not going to help you. Even the certificate from SOF is not going to help you anyway. अभी यहाँ पे जो ओलंपियाड का आपने भरा है फॉर्म, वहाँ से अगर आप नेशनल लेवल पे भी जाते हो और एसएसबी के में पहुँच जाते हो, आप एनडीए में एसएसबी में बोलोगे आप कि आप नेशनल लेवल पे चले जाओगे, तो गए हो, तो इट्स अ वेरी बिग एडवांटेज फॉर यू. ये एडवांटेज बहुत कम लोगों को मिलता है, बिकॉज ओलंपियाड सबको नहीं मिलते. 3 मेडल्स होते पर कंट्री. ठीक है, तो उस हिसाब से देखो. Aren't you saying but didn't knew that it was not? So I sorry, I always take SOF and मैं बाकियों के नाम लेना भूल जाता हूँ. There's SOF, there's Silver Zone, there's a couple of more. I cannot recall the names right now, but watch out. Always, whenever you're writing an Olympiad, na, always ask that if I were to top this, will I go on an international level? And if I were to go on an international level, will that certificate be valid for Ivy League colleges? If they say yes, मतलब झूठ नहीं बोले, आई एम अज्यूमिंग, अगर सच बोले और बोलते हाँ वैलिड है, देन इट्स वर्थ इट. जैसे नहीं वर्थ नहीं है, ये नहीं होएगा, आगे काम में नहीं आएगा, कुछ नहीं होएगा, तो देयर इज नो पॉइंट. देन द ओनली पॉइंट इज टू प्रैक्टिस. ठीक है. If anyone has any question, I'll wait for a moment. Otherwise, I would end the session. Any one of you has any questions about any sort of by the way, there's also a linguistic Olympiad. How many of you know about linguistic Olympiads? अच्छा, अंश, सिर्फ अंश आंसर कर रहे हो, no one else is answering in the chat box. There's about 80 odd people including me. Akash says nahi man. Akash, linguistic is basically it, I mean the word itself says it tests your linguistic. It talks about words, the root of words, and कब क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, कब क्या जाएगा, क्या होगा, कैसे होगा, वो सारी चीज़ें जो है ना, वो वो चीज़ें टेस्ट होती है लिंग्विस्टिक में. इट्स अ वेरी फैसिनेटिंग थिंग टू अंडरस्टैंड.
Language.
लैंग्वेजेस का जो है, इट्स अ वेरी वेरी फैसिनेटिंग थिंग टू डू. सर आप एस्ट्रोनॉमी का स्टडी लोगे या कुछ पार्ट शायद मैं ले लूँ, ठीक है, तो पूरा तो नहीं ले पाऊंगा, बट सम पार्ट इफ यू से आई कुड प्रोबेबली आई वुड बी इंटरेस्टेड in looking at it and trying to understand and explain. Astronomy for me is a very fascinating subject. It is immensely fascinating because it's all about creation of the world. Which book is best for it? बच्चा NTSC से IJSO कर रहे हो तो NTSC बेस्ट है आपके लिए. अगर आप IJSO में नहीं हो, अगर आप IJSO में नहीं हो, आप हायर लेवल ओलंपियाड पे जा रहे हो, तो नहीं, पहले NTSC का जो NTSC नहीं, सॉरी, अपना NCERT का जो बुक होता है वो पढ़ो. वो हो जाने के बाद तुम्हारा बहुत सारा रेफरेंस मटेरियल मिल जाएगा ओलंपियाड के लिए. पियर्सन्स का है, दूसरा है, बहुत सारा बुक्स है. गूगल पे ढूंढ लो, तुमको PDFs मिल जाएंगे इनके, ठीक है. तो इफ यू रेफर दोस बुक्स, इट विल बी वेरी गुड आइडिया टू डू. Anyone else? Anything? Any other question? Nope. All right then. In that case, if no one has any question, I would like to remind everyone that all ADCI students has to mandatorily fill the form per exam. Per exam, the fees is 203 rupees. As Sonali ma'am has already said. If you choose all the examinations, it's about 1,000 odd rupees, but it's investment. यानी वो पैसा बर्बाद नहीं किया तुमने, ऐसा सोचो, ठीक है. All the best. If you write this examination, I'm sure you'll have a wonderful experience writing this examination. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. God bless you all. Thank you, everyone. Bye bye. See you all.
Bye, sir.